My screen visible?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so today topic is inter-VLAN routing. For inter-VLAN routing, we have two methods. First one is SVI and second one is router on a right. Router on a stick means by using a router making communication between multiple VLANs, and SVI means by using multi-layer switch making communication between multiple VLANs. So you know by default why two VLANs will not communicate. If I have a switch and there are two users, PC1, PC, doesn't matter the subnet on PC is same or different, but these two VLAN cannot communicate by default. One, PC1 and PC. Right. So who will explain why ping will not work between two different VLAN if this is in VLAN 10 and this is in VLAN 20? Can these two PC communicate?
No, because we have segregated the VLAN.
We have
Like
segregated the VLAN means when switch will receive traffic, it will check the receiving interface is a member of which VLAN. If here IP
Same
address is,
yes,
subnet or different subnet?
doesn't matter. If it is in same subnet, then also it cannot communicate. If it is in different subnet, then also it cannot communicate. But we
yes,
can configure
because it,
inter-VLAN routing only if both belongs to different subnet. Okay. If here we
yes,
are
sir.
using same subnet for two different VLAN, then we cannot configure even inter-VLAN routing. But if here I am going to configure different subnet 20.1.1.1, and then if I am going to ping 20.1 from 10.1, what will happen? My machine will check the destination belongs to same subnet or different subnet. Destination belongs to different subnet, then gateway is required, right?
Yes.
Then PC will check gateway IP address. If gateway is not there, then PC will discard it. And with the help of SVI and router on a stick, we are going to get the gateway only.
So, sir, if it is with the
If it
same,
is on same subnet and on different VLAN, it will still not. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, then no, then also it will not work. Even then you
the
cannot
traffic.
configure inter-VLAN routing,
Hmm.
right? अब
But in
yes yes. Now ये वाला जो टेक्निक था वो आप कर सकते हो.
yes.
Okay, and this is recommendation. We should always use different subnet for different VLAN. You know the benefit of using VLAN here. With the help of VLAN, we can segment the network. We can divide large broadcast domain into a smaller part. Segmentation can help you to configure better security, quality of service, right? Segmentation can help you to configure QS, quality of service, because what I am saying, if I have a scenario like this, let's say one switch is there, 1000 number of ports are there, right? Multiple switches are in a stack, or 100 ports are there. There are two types of traffic and all are in the same VLAN. In VLAN, let's say 10, two departments are there and all are in VLAN 10, sales and HR. And my switch is further connected to router is further connected to ISP. In this case, if I want to configure quality of service for the HR, can I do it? No, because we have single subnet here, maybe 10.1.1.0/24. I cannot configure QS only for HR. I cannot configure any security for a particular department. But if I am using two subnet, one for HR, one for sales, then I can configure the quality of service because we have two different subnet now. So these are the benefit of dividing network into a smaller part, the benefit of segmentation. Right? So that's why first we have divided the broadcast domain into a smaller part, and now we are making reachability between all the subnet, all the small part of network. Okay, getting my point? Clear, guys? So in this case here, if IP address is 20.1.1.1, then both PC need gateway IP address. Both the machines should have gateway IP address, then only it can communicate. You know, if the destination belongs to different subnet, then gateway is required. How machine will find the destination is same subnet or different subnet?
And operation
With the help of
between the
AND
IP and
operation.
the subnet.
Very good. With the help of AND operation. Whenever you are going to send any traffic, first your device perform AND operation to identify the destination belongs to same subnet or different subnet. In this case, if I am going to ping 20.1 from 10.1, then destination is in different subnet. PC should have the gateway IP address, right? But gateway is not there. So for the gateway, what I can do, I can create here SVI. SVI means VLAN interface. SVI stands for what? Switched virtual interface. Switch virtual interface is called SVI. Inter-VLAN routing means routing between multiple VLAN, multiple segment you can say. By default, two VLAN cannot communicate with each other. To make communication possible, we need inter-VLAN routing. So inter-VLAN routing means making communication between multiple VLANs. And for the inter-VLAN routing, we have two options. Either I have to use layer 3 switch, or I can use a router. So first I am going to use a layer 3 switch. Then my method is called SVI. SVI stands for switched
Virtual interface.
virtual
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है
हाँ जब
सर ट्रंक लिंक हम दो स्विचेस के बीच में ही करते हैं क्या
हाँ
स्विच एंड राउटर के बीच में
इसके बीच में भी तो हो सकता है ना ट्रंक लिंक
किसके बीच में?
किसके बीच?
दो स्विचेस के बीच में
हाँ वो
ओके
तो किया ही-
बट
वो तो कल किया ही था
सेल्फ
हमने।
नहीं हो सकता जस्ट लाइक सर वाज सेइंग अ लूप वी कैन नॉट हैव अ सेल्फ ट्रंक लिंक
What is self trunk?
मतलब वो जो आप लूप बता रहे थे वो ट्रंक लिंक करने से वैसा इस सिनेरियो में नहीं हो सकता बिकॉज ट्रंक तो दो वीलैन का ट्रैफिक कैरी करता है
नहीं तो
राइट
फिर ट्रंक पे तो टैगिंग हो जाएगी ना. If I am
ओके
going to configure
हाँ ट्रंक पे टैग हो जाएगा
as a trunk link, right? Then switch will perform tagging over here, tagging of VLAN 10. So when switch will receive over here, it
yes
will think this is a traffic of VLAN 10.
yes got it okay
Okay. So what is SVI? SVI is, we can say SVI is SVI. It is a logical, or you can say the virtual interface created on MLS. MLS, or you can say layer 3 switch to perform inter-VLAN routing. If someone is going to ask you what is SVI, then you can answer like this: to perform inter-VLAN routing. Clear? Instead of using a physical router for inter-VLAN routing, I can have a multi-layer switch, and there we can perform inter-VLAN. Second method is router on a stick. We'll see that. Before that, for an example, these are multi-layer switches only in the EVNG. These all are multi-layer switches. So on any one switch, I can create SVI. SVI for VLAN 10, 20, and 30. First of all, VLAN database should be identical on all the switches, and my VLAN database is identical because I am using VTP. Right? I am going to configure switch 2 and switch 3 as a client and switch 1 as a server to centralize the VLAN. So let me access switch 2. Here I am not using transparent mode switch. Enable config T and VTP mode client. Done. And here we need to configure ports in VLAN also. Interface is 0/2. Switch port access VLAN 20, and then finally interface, and we can run one more command, that is switch port mode access. For the static access, the interface is 0/3. Again switch port mode access to disable the DTP protocol, dynamic trunking protocol, and then switch port access VLAN 30. Done. And do so interface trunk is not there. So here on switch number 2, I am going to change the mode of E0/0 and 0/1 to dynamic desirable. Automatically we will have trunking between all the switches. Interface range E0/0 and E0/1. Switch port mode dynamic desirable. And so interface trunk. Now you can see 0/0 and 0/1 are trunk link. Allowed VLAN on the link is, and active VLAN is only VLAN 1. Why? So VLAN brief. First see the VLAN database. VLAN 10 and 20 is there. In the VLAN 20 I have one interface as well, but VLAN 30 is not there, and even we are not able to see 0/3 interface. Where is 0/3 interface? So interface is 0/3 switch port. This is inactive. VLAN 30 is inactive, right? Means it is not present in the VLAN database. So what I will do, I will create VLAN 30 over here, but the VTP mode is client over here. I cannot create VLAN 30. I will manage the entire VTP domain from switch number 1. Till then, let me configure switch 3. On switch number 3, enable config T, interface is 0/2, switch port access VLAN 10, and switch port mode access. Interface is 0/1, switch port mode access, and switch port access VLAN 30. Clear? So interface trunk done. E0/0 is trunk, and so VTP status mode of this switch is client, and so VLAN brief. Don't worry about the VLAN. I am going to manage the VLAN from switch number 1. Okay, now let me take you to switch 1, and first here I am going to remove all the VLANs. Enable config T, no VLAN due to 1000. Okay, and then I am creating VLAN 10 here. Let's name it finance VLAN. Exit. VLAN 20, let's name it HR. Exit. VLAN 30, and let's name it, right? So VLAN brief. Fine, all the VLANs are there, and we need to configure ports also in the VLAN. Interface is 0/1, switch port mode access, and switch port access VLAN 10. Interface is 0/2, switch port mode access, and switch port access VLAN. Right now, so VLAN brief done. I have one PC in VLAN 10 and one PC in VLAN 20. Then so interface trunk. You can see these VLANs are active in the management domain and allowed VLAN are all. Right, so we can manage the allowed VLAN as well on the trunk link interface E0/0 switch port trunk allowed VLAN. And one more thing here, we need to verify the encapsulation protocol. Encapsulation protocol is what? ISL. So I am going to configure .1q. Let me take you to switch to config tree. Again interface range E0/0 and E0/1 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. Done. And now on switch number 1, again you can check the trunking interface trunk. Now you can see encapsulation protocol is .1q, and we need to modify the allowed VLAN on the trunk link. So interface E0/0 switch port trunk allowed VLAN. Which VLAN you will allow?
10 and 20.
10, 20 and 30 also. Then only VLAN 10 can communicate with VLAN 30 user, na? So allowed
Okay.
VLAN 10, 20 and 30. Clear? So interface trunk, now you can see the allowed VLANs are 10, 20 and 30 only. Okay, and on switch number 3 also, now we can verify the VLAN database. So VLAN brief, so you can see VLAN 10, 20, 30 are there, and name is also correct interfaces are there. On switch number 2 also you can verify it. So VLAN brief done. Now let me configure the PCs. Let me access PC1 and say IP 10.1.1.1/24 P2.
Sir, in this case, we will not give any gateway to the PCs.
Gateway is required. Let's say my last IP address from the subnet is the gateway. Okay, so on PC1 I am going to configure gateway as well. 10.1.1.254 is the gateway. Okay,
And that gateway would be SVI IP.
yes. So we'll create the SVI 1/24 and 20.1.1.250. Then go to PC3. IP 20.1.1/24 and 20.1.1.50. IP 30.1.1.1/24 and 30.1.1.250. 5 IP 10.1.1./24 and 10.1.1.250. Finally P6 IP 30.1.1.2/24 and 30.1.1.250. IP configuration is done. Now we can verify the connectivity within the VLAN. Like PC1 is a part of VLAN 10, so it should be able to ping any VLAN 10 users. 10.1.1.2 means PC5. I am pinging to PC5, and you can see I am able to ping. Ping is working, right? But I cannot
In
ping
the same
any.
VLAN.
Yes, in the same VLAN. I cannot ping 20.1.1.1 because the gateway is not reachable now. Will not work. Okay, from PC number 2, I can try to ping PC3, ping 20.1.1.1, and you can see ping is working. And on from PC number 4, I can try to ping P6, ping 30.1.1. And this ping is also working.
Working.
If you are going to remove any VLAN from the switch, like if you will think that hey, there is no any user in VLAN 30 on switch number 1, then there will be. If you are going to remove VLAN 10 from switch number 2, then PC1 and PC5 cannot communicate, even both are in same VLAN, because switch 2 cannot process VLAN 10 traffic. Okay,
So, sir, we have allowed this allowed VLAN on all the switches.
I have configured on switch number 1, you can configure on all the switches. Definitely you should configure on all the switches. Number
Uh,
also we should allow.
will will not will server switch will not cascade this to other switches.
No, server switch will. Pruning, you need to enable the pruning. After enabling pruning, it will automatically allow those VLANs only here. So here switch port, trunk, allowed VLAN 10, 20 and 30. Let me copy this command and I am going to add this command on switch number 3 also. Interface E0/0. Now only VLAN 10, 20 and 30 are allowed on the all trunk link. Now we can assume that switch 1 is my multi-layer switch MLS, who is going to manage the SVI. So on switch number 1 I am going to create SVI for all the
Sir?
VLAN. Yeah.
आपने यहाँ VTP कॉन्फ़िगर नहीं किया है ना?
क्या है ना?
By
तभी तो
default
सिर्फ
है
इस पे
वैसे
VLAN
कल वाली
बनाया,
टोपोलॉजी है.
तभी तो सिर्फ
कल
इस
वाली
पे VLAN
टोपोलॉजी.
बनाया और ऑटोमेटिकली इस सारे पे VLAN बन गया ऑटोमेटिक. BTP चल रहा है ना तभी ना.
जी
राइट
सर.
नाउ
VTP एनेबल पे ट्रंक लिंक पे भी अलाउ करना पड़ता है कि कौन सा हमें भेजना है.
बिल्कुल. BTP तो सिर्फ VLAN डेटाबेस को प्रोपोगेट करता है ना, उसको अलाउड VLAN से क्या मतलब है. एक प्रूनिंग का फीचर है जिससे हम ये बता सकते हैं नेबर स्विच को कि भाई मेरे पास कौन कौन से एक्टिव VLAN है. Now, for the SVI, first of all, your VLAN must be there in the VLAN database, and one interface must be in that VLAN, or we should have one trunk link on the switch. Then only your SVI interface will come up. Okay. So let me say,
again, sir.
to create the SVI, the VLAN must exist in the VLAN database. If I am going to create VLAN 50, interface VLAN 50, and VLAN 50 is not exist in the VLAN database, so this SVI interface will not come up.
Okay.
And the another requirement is there should be at least one trunk link. If trunk is not there, then at least one user must be there in that VLAN. Right? Let's say I have created the VLAN 50 exit, but there is no any user in VLAN 50. So if I will create interface VLAN 50, then this SVI will not come up. Okay, say no shutdown and see show IP interface brief. Your SVI is
Down only.
Why it is down? Because
No
there is no
user is
any
there.
interface in this VLAN. But I have trunk
But
link.
trunk link is there, sir.
But on the trunk link VLAN 50 is not allowed now. So now trunk link is a part of VLAN 10, 20 and 30 only. By default, trunk link is a part of all the VLANs. After allowing a specific VLAN, it is a part of group of VLAN only, not all VLAN. Okay. So I don't need SVI for VLAN 50. I am going to remove it. Even I don't need VLAN 50. I am going to VLAN 50. And now I am going to create SVI for VLAN 10. 10, no shutdown and IP address. IP address 10.1.1.
254.
250 55.255.255. Right, and now we can check my SVI is up or not. So interface brief, you can see my SVI is up. So IP route. By the way, on real devices, on layer 3 device, you have to enable the routing. By default, routing is disabled. You have to run command IP routing. Then only you can see the routing table. If I am going to remove this command, no IP routing, and then I will try to check routing table. So IP route, it will give me the error. Right? What it's saying?
Default gateway is not set.
It is just because of routing capability. Now this switch is not performing routing, right? So here IP routing command is mandatory on multi-layer switch. If you are using multi-layer switch for both routing and now if I will ping to the gateway from PC1, ping will work. Let me take you to PC1 and let me try to ping 10.1.1.254.
It should reach its gateway.
You can see, right? The gateway is now reachable. Similar way, I will create SBI for VLAN 20 also, VLAN 30 also, right? And this is not sure that on switch number 1 only SBI should exist. I can create SBI for VLAN 20 on switch number 2. I can create SBI for VLAN 30 on switch number 3 also.
Okay.
Okay. Interface VLAN 20, no shutdown, IP address 20.1.1.254.255.255.255.0 and so IP interface ref. Done. Both the SBIs are up. So IP route. Both are in the routing. Clear. Now PC1 and PC2 can communicate or not. PC1 is able to ping their gateway. PC2 can also ping their gateway. Ping 20.1.1.254. This ping should also work. It is working. Right, and now I can check connectivity between PC1 and PC2. Ping 10.1.1.1 and you can see ping is working.
Working.
From PC1 I can ping to 20.2 also, PC3 also. 2. How this ping is working? First, PC1 is going to forward traffic to their gateway to switch
20
1.
dot. Oh, yeah, 10.1.
Yes.
254. Yeah.
Correct. Then here it will perform routing and it will forward traffic to PC3. PC3 will forward to again their gateway and their gateway will forward traffic to PC1.
So I just want to understand one thing. When the traffic will go to E0/0 or switch 1,
Yeah.
so it will carry the tag of VLAN 10 or VLAN 20
VLAN
from this
20,
side.
20. Tag of VLAN
How
20.
can you explain a bit more on this?
How router is forwarding traffic? When I am going to ping PC3 from PC number 1, source IP 10.1, destination IP 20.1, it will forward to their gateway. How router will forward the traffic? It will compare destination IP with routing table. Right? In the routing table, it will check so IP route 20.1.1. Exit interface is what? VLAN 20 interface. So it will forward traffic from trunk link or VLAN 20 interface. And if it will forward traffic from the trunk link, then it will add tag of VLAN 20.
Okay. And on the other side, VLAN 20 is exist.
Yes. How PC3 and PC5 will communicate? This is request and this is reply. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. By through switch 1 only, all the different VLANs are going to communicate because we have SVI on switch number 1 only.
Sir, VLAN 10, for example, SVI for VLAN 10, we have created at switch 1. SVI for VLAN 20, if we create at switch 2, that is also fine. It will work, right, sir?
Yeah, that will also work fine. Yes.
So on this case, switch 1 E0/0 tag value will be only VLAN 10 only. Then it will change at switch 2 only. It will change.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Karthi, normally in the production now we have SVIs on single switch only.
Yeah, but you
that
can
is
try
a
on different
core
switch as well.
That is a core switch. That is a core
Okay,
switch
okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Actually, in the production, we will not have topology like this, right? How my topology is going to be look like? In the production, I will be having access layer switches. Let's say 3 access layer switches are there. Then distribution layer switches will be there. So distribution layer switches are going to be layer 3 switch, and access layer switches are going to
Yeah.
be layer 2 switch.
L2
Will be
switch.
connected like this.
Only VLANs would be configured on layer 2 switches.
On both distribution layer switch, you will create SVI,
SVs.
right? For the backup. For the backup, I will have SVI for on all the both the distribution layer switches. Here also I will have VLAN 10 interface. Here also VLAN 20 interface and VLAN 30 interface.
30.
On switch number 2 also I will have same SVI with different IP. Right? For an example, here IP address is .254, .254 and .250. And on switch number 2, distribution switch 2, IP address is .253, .253 and .253. And this case, you have 2 gateway, right? But PC need only 1 gateway.
Hmm.
PC need only 1 gateway, right? So we'll create the virtual gateway here. We'll create virtual gateway. Virtual gateway means with the help of multiple
HSR.
physical gateway, we will create one single logical gateway. And there are some protocols for that, like HSRP, BRRP, and GLBP. 3 protocols are there. So later we'll see these things. This will be your production environment, right? Not this. Here also we can have
Sir,
SVI for
And
same
sir,
VLAN
I
on multiple switches. Yeah.
and sir, I have seen in production that between can you go to the topology which you have created just now on Paint?
Yeah.
And between these two switches, VLAN 10 of you can say of switch 1 is and VLAN 10 of switch 2, OSPF is running between these two.
Yeah.
I have seen in production the OSPF is running between these two switches
Yes, definitely.
via these SVIs.
Yeah, for the better stability, we can enable any routing protocol here between switch 1 and switch 2, distribution switch 1, switch 2. You don't want that switch 1, distribution switch 1 and 2 should communicate through access layer switches. So that's why here I have what? Multiple link, right? We'll combine this link into L3 ether channel and then we will configure any routing protocol there. We'll see these all
Okay.
steps here. In upcoming days, we'll see L3 channel, ether channel, the OSPF configuration over here. The another option
can
is
you
you
please
can make this
explain?
port is layer 3 port also. L3 port, L3 port. In that case, you will have 2 OSPF neighborship, right? That's why this method is held. Here, CPU
Why it is
utilization
failed?
is more. CPU utilization is more here. Both routers will generate 2 OSPF neighbors, 2 OSPF hello messages. So that's why it's better to
Yeah.
configure single OSPF over here, and that is possible through L3 ether channel only.
But sir, on trunk link, can we run OSPF?
No, on
Because
layer
these
2
two,
link you cannot configure OSPF. Trunk is layer 2 link, switch port. Trunk port is a part of switch port.
but sir, till now what we have stated is that switches between the switches connection should be trunk, right?
Yes.
So why not between L3 switches? The connection is we are making L3 and not L2 trunk link basically.
No, trunk link, what I told you, there are 2 types of switch port, access port and trunk port.
Correct.
Switch port means layer 2 port, trunk port is layer 2 port. On layer 2 port, we
Correct.
cannot configure routing, na? We cannot configure
Correct.
IP address, na?
Correct.
So how you can configure the OSPF then? It is not possible. And even we cannot make this port as a layer 3 port because this is my L2 switch.
Mm-hmm.
This is L3 switch. So here this link should be trunk link only. This port will be your L2 link. Link between two distribution layer switches is going to be different. Here we need to learn the different technology.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So can you please explain SVI again? Like why we use SVI?
For inter-VLAN routing,
Okay. Suppose I don't want to use SVI. So whether it is possible to communicate in between the pieces?
then you can use router on a stick method. Two method are there,
Okay.
right? For routing, always you need layer 3 device. So either you can use router or L3 switch.
Yes.
Routing is possible with the help of layer 3 device only. Okay. So if we are performing routing with the help of layer 3 switch, that is called SVI. And if we are performing routing with the help of router, that is called router on a.
So my PC's gateway will be SVI IP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, sir, in that failover case, what we were discussing just now, so we would be running on SVS, we would be running
HSRP.
HSRP.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
On the SVI only you will be configuring HSRP or VRRP or GLBP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now similar way I can create SVI for VLAN 30 also here. Interface LAN 30 CERT and IP address 30.1.1.24.255 IP interface. Now here you can see I have 3 SVI, all the SVIs are up and now all the VLANs user can communicate.
Communicate.
Right? You verify it from one ping 30.1.1.1 is working. Here you can check how our PCs are going to resolve the MAC address, right? How switch is going to resolve the MAC address, packet flow for the VLANs, everything you by yourself. Okay, clear? If it is
Yes, sir.
clear, then I can move to router on a stick now.
Sir, if these PCs want to, by this topology only, if they want to access the internet, then
Can access internet. Sorry, can configure router here.
hmm.
On the router, I can
And what would
configure
be running? What would be running between the switch 2 and R1?
switch 1 and R1.
Switch 2 and R1 because the
Switch
connection is from
switch 2
switch.
and R1. This link can be L3 link. This can be L3 link. Here I can configure
We can
config D surface
we can
F0
run
slash 0.
protocol. Huh?
Yeah, that
सर
IP.
हमें स्विच 2 में भी राउटिंग एनेबल करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ बिल्कुल. IP एड्रेस कोई भी सबनेट यहाँ पे चला
12
सकते
dot
हैं. 12 dot
12.1.
and then here by 2 config T interface E 1 slash 0 no switch port and IP 12.1.525 dot ping 12.1.1.1. Ping will work. Now we can configure the routing protocol here.
And we have to distribute, redistribute these SVIs into OSPF. Then,
Here you have to create SVI on switch number 2 ना.
sir, but वो sync हो रहा है ना already
तो यहाँ
switch
पे
1 से.
switch 2 पे नहीं है ना. switch 2 पे कैसे
Okay.
भेजेंगे हम SVI? अगर हम यहाँ पे EIGRP प्रोटोकॉल चला दूं अभी between ये switch and router, how switch 2 will advertise the SVIs?
Or we can directly advertise these networks 10.1, 12, 20.1
बट
and
वही नेटवर्क
30.1.
राउटिंग प्रोटोकॉल में एडवर्टाइज होता है जो लोकल राउटिंग टेबल में है.
हाँ, ये भी चीज है।
स्विच 2 पे नहीं है ना।
जी 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 जी। सो अगर स्विच 1 पे अपना कोई कनेक्शन होता राउटर का डायरेक्ट, तो दैट कुड हैव वर्कड इन
Yeah,
दिस
yeah,
केस।
100%. Here also you can create the SVI with another IP address. Interface VLAN 10 IP address 10.1.1.253 55255.255.0 that like this, and then IP OSPF one area
0
0 interface E 1/0 IP OSPF one area 0, and then router face F0/0 IP OSPF 1, yeah, IP dot OSPF.
थोड़ा तेज कर।
कीबोर्ड IP वे में है अभी F नहीं, बस आप यहाँ पे नेटवर्क टाइप भी पॉइंट टू पॉइंट कर सकते हो। फेस 1/,
फास्ट इथरनेट और ब्रॉडकास्ट पड़ा होगा अभी।
फेस F
सर F 0/0।
OSPF नेटवर्क
सर सर उस केस में थोड़ी दिक्कत आएगी जब जहाँ पे दोनों नेटवर्क टाइप अलग अलग होंगे, तो जैसे अपना फुल आ चुका है राइट ऑलरेडी ओएसपीएफ।
right, and
But
now
I
I'm
think you're going to have a separate topic for the OSPF, sir, right?
just I'm enabling, this is not our topic. तो IP dot OSPF ये SVI का आ गया ना, तो यूजर कैन एक्सेस
एंड
इंटरनेट नाउ।
देन बीजीपी या कुछ चलाना, डिफॉल्ट रूट डालना पड़ेगा।
डिफॉल्ट रूट OSPF से हम डिफॉल्ट रूट एडवर्टाइज करवा देंगे, right? So we'll see these all configuration later.
ओके
No router OSPF 1 interface F0/0 no IP address,
एड्रेस
and go to number 2 here also no router OSPF 1 and interface E 1/0 here to port, and no interface VLAN 10. Done. So SVI is clear. How we are going to make communication through SVI? Now I am going to remove the SVI from switch number 1. No interface VLAN 10, no interface VLAN 20, no interface VLAN 30, right? Again, two VLANs cannot communicate. PC1, now if I will try to ping 30, ping will not work. You can see ping is not working. Now I am going to use a router for inter-VLAN routing, and that is called router on a stick method. But on the router, I have only one interface, one physical interface, and I need how many gateway?
3
3. So we can divide this one interface into multiple sub interface.
यस
सर थोड़ा स्लो चले प्लीज।
एक इंटरफेस को क्या करेंगे, मल्टीपल पार्ट में डिवाइड कर देंगे, दैट इज कॉल्ड सब इंटरफेस. Router on a stick is a method of inter-VLAN routing where a single physical router interface is used to route traffic of multiple VLAN. Single interface of router is used to route traffic of multiple VLAN. Right? How will do that? On the router, you need to run only no such command on the physical interface. Interface F0/0 no shutdown. That's it. Now I am going to create a sub interface here. To create sub interface, command is going to be interface F0/0 dot and then any number. For VLAN 10, I can say 10 or I can say 1, right? And then first encapsulation protocol I have to define here. because this port should be trunk port, because this link is going to carry traffic of all the VLANs. Whenever switch 2 will forward traffic on this port, it will add the tag value, right? Either by using ISL protocol or .1q protocol. And same protocol should be configured on sub interface of router, then only it can understand. If the encapsulation protocol will mismatch, then again communication will not work. समझ में आ रहा है? Right, so first of all I am going to configure switch
सर
2.
एक बार फिर से रिपीट कर सकते हैं वो ट्रंक लिंक आप जो कह रहे थे, क्योंकि ट्रंक लिंक डिफरेंट
Interface
वीलैन ट्रैफिक
slash 0. Switch 2E1/0 is going to carry traffic of all the VLAN 10, 20, 30. So this link should be trunk link. Switch port trunk. And then encapsulation protocol I am configuring .1q here. Then switch port mode trunk. Now this port can carry traffic of all three VLAN 10, 20 and 30. And this encapsulation protocol should be same on the router as well. Right? If switch is going to add ISL header and encapsulation protocol on router is .1q, then .1q cannot understand ISL header. Okay, so on the router also I am going to configure encapsulation protocol what? .1q. .1q for which VLAN? For VLAN 10. And then IP address 10.1.1.254.55.255.255 dot exit interface f0/0.2 encapsulation .1q for VLAN 20 and IP address 20.1.1.24.255.255.255.0 exit interface f0/0.3 encapsulation .1q for VLAN 30 and IP address 30.1.1.254.255.255.255. Now when router will receive traffic on f0/0, it will check again tag value. If tag value is 10, then router will hand over traffic to this sub interface. Right, because here we have configured .1q for VLAN 10. If the tag value is 20, then router will hand over traffic to f0/0.2. And if tag value is 30, then it will hand over to this interface. Right, here you can check the IP, so IP interface brief. These are sub interfaces.
राहुल, आपके प्रोडक्शन सिनेरियो में आप एसवीआई यूज करते हो क्या?
यस बॉस, यस, तभी मेरे क्वेश्चंस ज्यादा हैं बिकॉज वहां पे यू विल बी कंफ्यूज्ड. वहां पे हंड्रेड्स ऑफ VLAN बनी होंगी.
हाँ, मतलब
And-
उसको एक्सटेंडेड वीलन कहते हैं क्या उसको ही?
ना, सेम SVI बनी होंगी बेसिकली.
हाँ हाँ.
एंड यू वुड बी सेइंग कि कस्टमर आपको जब सिर्फ कोर स्विच पे आप बैठ के कस्टमर वुड बी गिविंग यू ओनली वन IP एड्रेस एंड यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई ईच एंड एवरीथिंग कि SVI का स्टेटस क्या है, ट्रंक है कि नहीं है,
ओके.
ट्रैफिक जा रहा है कि नहीं, एक्सेस स्विच से यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई कि यूजर कौन से स्विच पे बैठा है और कहां से कनेक्टेड है इसका टेबल.
ओके. वाया ट्रेस रूट तो पता चल जाएगा, मतलब वो कौन से
इस काम नहीं करता, इसमें वो वाला कमांड काम करेगा, शो मैक एड्रेस टेबल, शो IP आर्प, देन IP एड्रेस जो कस्टमर देगा ना आपको, वो IP से आपको मैक एड्रेस मिल जाएगा. देन आपको एंड प्रोडक्शन में आपके पास में करीब 10-12 स्विचेस होंगे इसके नीचे, कोर स्विच के. ठीक है, तो उसके नीचे जा जाके मैक एड्रेस को आपको ट्रेस करते हुए जाना है बेसिकली. शो मैक एड्रेस टेबल एंड देन एड्रेस, देन यू विल गेट द इंटरफेस एंड इंटरफेस मिल जाएगा तो शो CDP नेबर, तो उससे आपको IP मिल जाएगा उसका. देन अगेन यू हैव टू लॉग इन द नेक्स्ट स्विच, अगेन मेक एड्रेस टेबल एंड देन सेम कमांड्स एंड एवरीथिंग. देन लास्ट में जाके आपको प्रोडक्ट का मतलब बेसिकली जहां यूजर कनेक्टेड है वो मिलेगा.
In real time only you can see the root shell, right? You cannot see the diagrams and all.
No, LLD is there, but that is not so much clear what is over here in this paint or EVNG. You will be having a diagram, but that is not be, IP would not be mentioned or everything would not be mentioned, and it is not possible. See, if for suppose in VLAN 10 suppose 50 users are there, you cannot make single PC and give that IP, right?
Yes. Yes.
And on that case, the IP is not configured, you can say, manually, statically. It is fetched via DHCP.
DHCP. Yes.
Yeah. Then on SVI's DHCP will also be configured.
Okay.
ठीक है दोस्तों. Okay, now again we can check connectivity, and I am expecting all the VLAN should be able to communicate. Again, I am going to ping 30.1. See, ping is working. And how ping is working? This is, sorry, not port 10. I ping to 30.1, right? Like this. 30.1. This is my request. And reply, again reply is. Okay?
सर अब तो हमने एसओए बना दिए हैं, आई थिंक स्विच 2 पे. अब तो हमने स्विच 2 पे एसओएस बना दिए हैं, तो इट वुड बी डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम
नहीं,
एनी
स्विच 2
VLAN.
पे कहाँ बनाया है SVI? We don't have any SVI on switch number. OIP interface.
एंड स्विच 1 पे एक बार दिखाइए.
स्विच 1 पे भी नहीं है.
ओके, अब एसओए की जरूरत ही नहीं है.
अब SVI की जरूरत. Or no need
What
to
is the full form of SVI?
switch virtual interface. So these are two methods for inter-VLAN routing. It's very easy. You can configure it by yours.
Sir, which method is better one, sir, for the production network?
SVI.
Which is
SVI. Most of the time we are using
okay,
SVI.
sir.
Okay, because in this type of design I have layer 3 switch. So if you have layer 3 switch, you will not create sub interface on the router, right? Then there are some troubleshooting, like here maybe encapsulation protocol is mismatching, right? By mistaken, if you have configured the encapsulation protocol for wrong VLAN, then also ping will not work. So you can troubleshoot it. Now you know the packet flow. Whenever you need to troubleshoot the issue, try to find the packet flow. The best way to troubleshoot, right? And on switch, how we will be identifying the traffic? By using MAC address table, right? Like I want to know the switch 1. Switch 1, PC1 is not able to ping, let's say 30.1. I can check the MAC address of this machine. I will first check the switch is able to learn MAC address of PC1 or not. Switch 1 is able to learn MAC address of default gateway or not, right? So IP all. Here is my MAC address, and I can look for this MAC address in the MAC address table of switch 1. So MAC address table,
MAC
address table, address, and this one, right? So yes, it is learning on which interface? On Ethernet 0/1. Then I can take switch 2, that switch 2 is learning MAC address or not. So MAC address table, then address, this one. Switch 2 is also learning, right? Then I can check the gateway MAC address is on correct interface or not, right? PC3 MAC address, 4 MAC address, and this way we can trace route the path, we can troubleshoot the issue. Trunking VLAN encapsulation protocol.
Sir, how can we troubleshoot when suppose there are two scenarios? one is that VLANs are not communicating, means VLAN 10 is not communicating with VLAN 30. So in that case, what would be the ideal scenario? We would ask user to share his IP address and the same MAC address we will be tracing on each switches.
Yeah, or you can have the loopback on the switch. You
Loopback
can ask
means?
for the user for the IP address, or you can create the loopback on the switch. From that loopback to your gateway, you will ping, right, to check the reachability from here to router,
Okay.
right? Or you can ask for the IP address to user, or you can ask to user to ping their gateway to VLAN 10 user also, VLAN 30 users also. Both are able to ping their gateway or not. If both are able to ping their gateway, but they are not able to communicate, then definitely you will troubleshoot the router. That means there is some issue on the router only, the routing only,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You can check the allowed VLAN, those things on the trunk link. Like on this trunk link, VLAN 10, 20, and 30 should be allowed.
Correct. एक और सिनेरियो सर आज आया था कि एक यूजर एक सर्वर है सपोज 30.2 और है अगर अपनी टोपोलॉजी के हिसाब से एंड दिस सर्वर इज जस्ट टू बी एक्सेस्ड बाय यूजर्स मतलब यूजर जो अदर वीलेंस में पड़े हैं they will be accessing this
Server.
server okay but this server is creating some problem and sending some logs to the PCs basically users so they wanted कि कुछ time बाद this server should not communicate मतलब only user should communicate server should not communicate तो सर
We
ACL
can
बना
keep
के
a
something was done